Established in 1956, the Hong Kong Society for the Blind, HKSB, commits to provide services for the visually impaired persons in Hong Kong, holding the mission of providing services and opportunities to promote equality of visually impaired people in Hong Kong. We've been rendering innovative and quality services to the visually impaired over the past 55 years. To celebrate the 55th anniversary, Open Days were organised in October 2011 at the HKSB headquarters in Tokawan and Tuen Mun districts. We aim to introduce our services to the public to deepen their understanding about the needs of the visually impaired persons and the difficulties they encounter in their daily living. We were grateful to have Mr. Patrick Nip Tak Kuan, JP, Director of Social Welfare of the HKSAR Government, and Mr. Xiang Ti Fu, Director General of Social Work Department, Liaison Office of the Central People's Government in HKSAR, and Miss Cheetah Yu, a young singer and songwriter, to officiate at the Open Day kick-off ceremony. During the Open Days, the Living in a Barrier-Free Society program received a good response from the participants. It gave them a special experience to move around in total darkness and to learn how barrier-free facilities were able to assist the visually impaired persons to minimise their difficulties in their daily life. The 4-day Open Days recorded an attendance of about 2,000 visitors. Established in 2006, the Resource Centre for the Deafblind organised celebration activity for its 5th anniversary in 2011. The slogan of the centre is, "The deafblind people need your help to feel and integrate into this colourful world." Let's listen to what Fong Fong, a deafblind member, says. Hello, my name is Fong Fong. I joined the Resource Centre for the Deafblind more than 2 years ago. I have a lot of happy memories here. I have learned the tactile sign language and can now communicate with people despite my hearing and visual impairment. When I'm in a noisy restaurant with my family, I can hardly understand what people are saying. But since learning the tactile sign language, I can receive messages clearly in a noisy environment. I can also express my feelings to others easily. This has brought a dramatic change to my life. We look forward to your participation as a volunteer to help more deaf-blind persons to feel and integrate into this colourful world. Lifelong learning is important to the elders to make them feel a sense of worthiness. 7 residents gave performances in the Elder Academy opening ceremony come Kowloon Home for the Aged Blind 25th anniversary celebration. Mr. Mak Hon Kai, MH, Chairman of Hong Kong Association for Senior Citizens, shared with participants the topic on lifelong learning after the opening ceremony of the Elder Academy in Kowloon region and spelled out the importance of positive living. My name is Cho Lin Fong. I am 81 years old. I've been here for 5 months. I used to live in a private aged home and felt unhappy because everyone but me in the home could see. Here, though, it is different from other private aged homes, with more comprehensive facilities for the visually impaired. I can follow the handrails to go anywhere I want to go. There's a tactile signage on the door of each room, so I will not enter into a wrong room. All the residents here are visually impaired. We support each other and live together happily. The staff help us adapt to living here too. Furthermore, I'm a student of the Elder Academy. There are lots of activities which we like. Today, some student volunteers are coming to teach us how to make handicraft, which is a lantern for the Mid-Autumn Festival. We are so happy. My name is Chung Ah Lai, a student of Wong Tai Shan Memorial College. Our school and the Kowloon Home for the Aged Blind co-organised the Elder Academy to teach the elderly putonghua, African drum playing and handcraft making. Sometimes we also accompanied the elderly to the Noah's Ark. As a student, we study hard in school. When my teacher arranged for us to teach the elderly putonghua and accompany them for outings, we believed it would be a good memory of our schooling age. It's important that we not only care about our schoolwork, but also learn how to take care of the needy in society. Supported by the Create Hong Kong of Commerce and Economic Development Bureau, the Development of Audio Description Services for Hong Kong Films project was held from May 2011 to April 2012. We aimed to train up a pool of professional narrators to support the development of audio description services in Hong Kong. The launching ceremony of the project was held on the 30th of July 2011. Representatives from the HKSAR government and the film industry were invited to officiate at the ceremony. They were Mr. Lam Woon Kwong, Chairman of the Equal Opportunities Commission, Ms. Mabel Jeung, Executive Committee Member of the Hong Kong Film Directors Guild, Mr. Alex Law, Vice President of the Hong Kong Film Directors Guild, Mr. James Mack, Vice President of the Hong Kong Federation of Drama Societies, Mr. Wellington Fung, Assistant Director of Create Hong Kong, Dr. Chow Yali, Chair of the Board of the Public Television Service Foundation and Chair of the Board of the Chinese Television System, and Mr. Joel Snyder, Project Director of the Audio Description Project of the American Council of the Blind. The project was comprised of 3 parts. Part 1, a 5-day audio description training workshop conducted by 2 audio description specialists, Mr. Joel Snyder from the United States and Dr. Zhao Yali from Taiwan. They provided training to 131 trainees, of which 71 of them completed the 15-hour training. Part 2 was the 16 screenings with audio description that provided trainees opportunities to practice the audio description skills learnt from the workshop in film shows. Part 3 was the seminar on audio description in Chinese films, held in February 2012, which provided a forum for trainees and all parties who supported audio description to exchange their views on the future development of audio description in Hong Kong. The closing ceremony, cum the screening of A Simple Life with audio description, was held at Taikoo Plaza UA Cinema on the 27th of March 2012. We were honoured to have invited Mr. Gregory So Kam Leung, JP, the Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development Bureau, to be the chief officiating guest. Mr. So gave live audio description of the poster of A Simple Life, which received good response from the audience at the ceremony. Over 140 visually impaired persons and their family members attended the screening. They all enjoyed the high-quality audio description offered throughout the screening. My name is Dawning Leung. I am an audio describer volunteer of the HKSB. I joined the project called Development of Audio Description Services for Hong Kong Films 2011 and 2012 last year to learn to be an audio describer, including writing my own scripts for audio description. I also learned how to translate images into words and words into messages in my script to let the visually impaired audience understand that by listening to sounds and dialogues of the movie, they might have missed some important messages. Audio description can definitely help the visually impaired audience to understand the film better. My name is Merrick Ho, a Form 6 student. In March 2012, I watched an audio descriptive film called A Simple Life in cinema with the visually impaired members of the Hong Kong Society for the Blind. I was happy because I felt trendy. A few days after the viewing, the movie became the topic of discussion in class. To a person who had never participated in such topical discussions before, it was the first time I could join in. I found myself in and active in the discussion. Films with audio description are amazing and wonderful. Since 2004, it's the 6th marathon charity concert organised by the Hong Kong Jockey Club Community Project Grant. Parents Resource Centre for Visually Impaired Children, PRC, this year. It provided a good platform for visually impaired persons to demonstrate to the public their musical talents, as well as a chance for musical exchange between the sighted and visually impaired persons. At the concert venue, charity sales, games and guide path tour were organised for the audience. By taking part in the games, the participants were able to have a better understanding about the abilities and needs of visually impaired persons. We were indebted to the staunch support of the co-organisers: Success Piano Company, Energy at Candy's Music, Sun Hung Kei Volunteer Team, and sponsorship of the concert venue by the Sun Hung Kei Properties. The two-day marathon charity concert had brought more than 200 performers, both sighted and visually impaired, on stage. A total sum of around 100,000 Hong Kong dollars was raised for financing further service development of PRC. The need of deafblind people is unique, and I hope the public can understand us. Furthermore, I hope there will be more barrier-free facilities available in the community to allow us to live more safely and independently.
The audio description in the United States and England is well developed, and I hope the audio description service development in Hong Kong will be as fast as in these countries. More visually impaired persons can be benefited if more film DVD distributors are willing to add audio description soundtracks into the film DVD. In addition, I hope all cinemas, museums and theatres can provide audio description service.
I hope more volunteers can accompany us to social activities which would help us reintegrate into society so we could enjoy a better and happier life. Although the elderly are visually impaired, when we talk to them, they always smile back to us. Through volunteer work, I understand that helping others is easy, and getting a smile from others is easy too. I hope more schools will join this activity to encourage more students to care for the visually impaired elderly. In a fast, progressive society, we find the demands for quality living from the visually impaired are rising too. Nowadays, the advancement of information technology, nothing seems impossible. With the availability of barrier-free facilities, visually impaired persons are able to move around and use community facilities safely and independently. By installing screen magnification software and reading software, visually impaired persons are able to work on computers and gain access to information through the internet to enrich their knowledge and know what is happening around the world. Getting in touch with the world seems unrelated to visually impaired persons with a mentally handicap. However, if they were given the opportunity to see the world, it would make a difference. The superintendent and social worker of the Morning Glory Dak-Cum Hostel presented two papers at the 20th Asian Conference on Intellectual Disabilities Conference, ACID, in Jeju, Korea. They shared the experience on developing services for persons with intellectual disabilities with the 1,500 participants from 200 countries. Led by staff members and volunteers, 8 trainees who had completed the 3-year public education and community service program of the Morning Glory Dak-Cum Hostel went on to an exchange tour as ambassadors of positive living to Jeju. They visited one of the integrated residential homes in Jeju and shared with the people their positive living experience. The trainees had the chance to open up their eyes to a different culture during the tour, which also widened their exposure. The Barrier Free Access Technology Services Centre was renamed Barrier Free Access HK Limited and became a wholly owned subsidiary of HKSB on the 1st of October 2011. The company provides one-stop services ranging from design consultancy service to supply and installation of barrier-free access products for government departments, organisations, companies and the public. Funded by the Hong Kong Jockey Club Charities Trust, the Yuan Long Home for the Aged Blind was undergoing redevelopment, aiming to provide better facilities and living environment to the aged blind residents. The new building is scheduled to be completed by July 2014. To make room for redevelopment, 80 visually impaired elderly residents of the Yuen Long home were moved to the Jockey Club Tuan Mun home for the aged blind in August last year for temporary accommodation. A housewarming ceremony was held at Tuan Mun home to welcome the residents of the Yuen Long home on the 6th of December 2011. We were grateful to have Dr. Eric Lee Kai Chung, GBS OBE JP, steward of the Hong Kong Jockey Club, as the chief officiating guest at the ceremony. After the completion of the redevelopment, the Yuen Long home will be renamed the Hong Kong Society for the Blind Jockey Club Yan Hong Building, providing modern and quality residential services for 120 visually impaired elderly and 40 visually impaired persons with multiple disabilities. The redevelopment of the Yuen Long home for the aged blind is a milestone for further development of our residential services. With a will to improve our services, the Hong Kong Society for the Blind made the best use of its expertise to render innovative and quality services to the visually impaired over the past 55 years. The world is full of changes and challenges. To keep abreast of time and to strive for excellence will continue to be the goal of the Hong Kong Society for the Blind in a sustained partnership for a better future.